Okay.
Okay, recording has also started, and we have several people who have already joined.
Hi. Hi, Guillaume. Hi, Hélène.
These are people you know, or is it your team?
No, it's people we don't know. So happy to see them joining this
Okay,
this
cool.
session.
Cool. Hi, everyone. And then we have people in the chat, so maybe they'll also join us soon. Just for the attendees information, currently the cameras and microphones are disabled. Depending on the number of people who will be actively joining, I will either enable the microphones, or I will keep them disabled until, let's say, we have a question. And if you have a question that you would like to address personally, please raise your hand using the raise function. I will enable your microphone and perhaps your camera if you want to, and so you can actually address your question personally. Otherwise, we have a Q&A section where you are welcome to add your questions. And you can also use the chat section to make some comments, interact with the presenters, with myself. Yeah, but the questions, if there's a specific question that you want us to address in the end, because we will have a time reserved for Q&A, then please add it in the Q&A section.
Yeah.
Okay. We have an AI assistant who has joined.
Yeah, this guy has a funny name, Recorder AACE. Convenient. This is for the recording, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I actually didn't enable it. It's probably something that comes automatically with Teams. It's some sort of add-in, I believe. Okay, good. So we are already 1 minute past. So for everybody who has already attended, I will repeat some ground rules. And then we start. So we already have like 8 people, and there are more joining. Okay, the ground rules are that right now all the cameras and microphones are disabled because we expect quite a large number of people joining us. If you have a question during the presentation that you would like to address yourself, please raise your hand using the button on top of your screen in Teams, and I will enable your microphone so you can address it personally. Otherwise, please use the Q&A section to post your questions that we will address in the end, because we will reserve 15 minutes in the end for addressing those questions. You can also use the chat section to actively interact with others, to make any comments. Please don't use it for questions because we have the Q&A section. But it's okay to interact, to sometimes people share their LinkedIn pages or emails. Fine. If you want to share your personal details for people to network with you, please do so. Otherwise, don't. Right? Okay. So yeah, the room is filling up quickly. We're already at about 14 people, 15 and counting. So welcome to this webinar organized by AACE section Denmark and Sweden, together with AACE Region 9, which is the EMEA region of AACE. I hope if you have joined this webinar, you already know what AACE is. So I won't waste time making that introduction. Rather, we'll go into a quick introduction of our presenters today. I will start with myself. My name is Mehmet Yusubov. I am the chair of the so-called AACE section Sweden and Denmark. I reside in Malmö. I work in Copenhagen, so I'm kind of between the two countries, comfortably and conveniently located on the border. I am a PMO and project planning and control specialist with a lot of years of experience, I think around 14 by now, coming from oil and gas and renewables industries, working in construction operations on all different phases of capital projects and energy assets. So today we're joined by some great people. We have the founders, co-founders of OFFOLIO. It's a startup that has been around for quite a while. I've known the guys and the company for several years now, and they're based in Paris. You're on La Défense, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the fancy Wall Street of Paris. And and they will talk about OFFOLIO today, what they do, and how they make everybody's life in the planning and controls world easier, and how it's different from the other tools and other software that we know that we use and we work with, right? So I'll pass the stage to Cyril. And just to a quick introduction, Cyril, and then probably William, who would like to introduce himself.
Yeah, I
So on
will.
to you guys.
Yeah. Thank you, Mamad, for the introduction. Thank you also for the invitation. I'm Cyril Verbruge. I'm the very happy CEO and co-founder with William of OFFOLIO. So just about myself, before founding OFFOLIO, almost 5 years from now with William, I was specialized in growing business for software companies. And before that, I was working on the finance for banking, insurances. I started in the financial market, actually. So I always focused myself on solving issues that have financial impacts. And my partner William, he was a planner himself, and he spent years in planning complex projects and training people on Primavera, trying to solve the classical issues that you face when you are planning nuclear projects, transportation projects, medical projects. So everything that require a big investment and where time to market is very important. He had this experience and he shared to me, and we decided to create OFFOLIO. So it was almost 5 years ago, and just today my goal is to give you a view on a very disruptive aspect of the technology, because the technology in itself covers a lot of different things, but we have chosen a very specific use case where AI is very, very visible, when you can easily grab the concept on your day-to-day work if you are working with schedules planning, and I guess so because you are all here. So thank you very much, Mamad, and let's start from now if you're okay.
Yeah. Would William want to make a quick introduction, or?
Nope, his mic is. I will handle it.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Okay. Yeah. So here is the angle. It's about how artificial intelligence is transforming project management. But project management is quite wide. We will focus specifically on industrial project scheduling, because this is something that we know well. The schedule matters applies to different type of projects, but you will see the concepts are applicable to other infrastructure, construction, other projects. But here, this will be about industrial project scheduling. So just before. So how we will do this session with you guys? We have very few slides just to give you the context, the idea, the concept, and we will demo the project. You will see some crazy things. We have a lot of fun building our AI modules And we will demo it, and then we will have this question and answer session together. But first of all, why in the morning you decide to create a startup? Because this is not an easy thing, creating a startup. So you need a lot of energy, of focus, and basically a vision. And our vision is that as of today, the humanity have to transform. We have to change our way to consume. We have to change our way to transport ourselves, to use the energy, and this requires big investment projects. And when we look at the success rate on those projects in terms of just the budget, time, and scope, just the classical triangle, we see that in the time frame that we have in front of us, this will be complicated. So one manner to succeed is to change our way to drive the project. And we decided with OFFOLIO to bring artificial intelligence and automation in order to increase the success rates, for that to increase the quality and the real-time aspect of project data, in order to treat project portfolio as if you were managing an investment portfolio. Because in the investment, you have real-time data and you decide quickly to react to the market changes. So we should have the same vision for the project portfolio. But for that, we need data, we need real-time. And this is why we think that project manager need right tool to be augmented, as we say, to put them at the center of strategic decision. And there is one sentence that we like to put on the table: human have tools, and certainly not the inverse. So and for that, the tool should be helping you, should be scenariozing the future for you to decide, and you should elevate yourself with this kind of tool. So this is the concept. Okay, so here is the situation of the company. For now, we are a growing company, very accelerating a lot lately, because in 2020, when we started this company, it was basically the COVID crisis. January, we created the company. February, there was the lockdown. So you can imagine how challenging this situation can be. But we decided to focus on the pain point and the solution that we can provide. And in a certain way, this helped, because we were able to research and develop a lot without being too much disrupted by the market demand, because there were no market demand at that time. And when you see the situation today, you see that AI, there is a lot of fear. That's true. But there is a lot of appetence also, and there is nothing more concrete than client adoption. And today in France, we have most of the stock listed company in the industry adopting AI through OFFOLIO. I'm thinking about the energy sector with a company like Orano in the nuclear. I'm thinking about the defense industry with company like MBDA or Arcus, or more common goods like the pharmaceutical industry. For example, Sanofi is not in the list, but we are just starting a new project with them today to automate the scheduling for new production line, for example. So you see that there is adoption. This is here. It's not just an idea. It's concrete. And we are very proud to deliver this kind of innovation. And we are up to 15 people, going to the 20 people, based in France mainly. And this is a crazy story we like to share because we have a lot of fun. So
let me ask you a quick question, right?
Yeah.
Because you mentioned the defense companies like MBDA, for example.
Yeah.
And also I saw another company there, aerospace. I think the logo reminded me either Lockheed or was it Northrop?
Collins Aerospace.
Yeah, Collins Aerospace. So how do you tackle the concern around security? cybersecurity when you are approaching these companies and working with them?
Yeah, with the defense industry, you have to be very careful, of course, but they push you to be at a certain level. And there is basically two ways. One is you locate everything, the database with the project data in their premises and the application in their premises. When you have classified information, for example, if you are dealing with project about creating a new weapon which is classified, then there is no way you can locate this in the cloud. No way, because there is the national agency just putting a barrier, and this is not possible. But this is quite at the margin, because today more than 95% of our clients are based in our premises. We located everything in Microsoft Azure. Our servers are in France. We have some backups also, and we have to increase a lot the proof of seriousness on this aspect, the control on the security, the confidentiality. I mean, this is the classical path that you have to follow if you want to deal with those large corporate, and the reality is that there are a lot of attacks and risks. So if you are not ready to invest a lot in this aspect, then you fail for sure. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and AI is not different from classical software business, I would say, because AI model can be located in the premises of the company as any other software. So we have today 4 products, and I will focus on one with you guys today. So our specialty is to offer technology that brings capacity to simulate quickly the future based on multiple constraints. Because at the end of the day, the job of a planner is to find the right path, which is the optimum between multiple constraints, budget, capacity of the people, and you can imagine a lot of things. And AI Expert is this tool, and we will focus on this one with an example on the transport industry. So we will show you how a company building train can very quickly build schedules based on WBS that are in a library, use the AI to create the logic between the WBS, and use AI to have a resource loaded schedule like in few clicks. So crazy things, very interesting. So this is the AI Expert. But if you want to deploy a technology like OFFOLIO for the whole organization with the businesses, the PMOs, the project managers gathering all the portfolio, then you can use a product that we call the Smart PPM for portfolio and project management tool, where you have the capability of the AI Expert, but with an organization and workflows behind. We have also companies using only for maintenance and production, very operational management of the tasks, a product called the Light. It's a day-to-day tool. You can compare to an Asana Monday, but oriented for the maintenance and production, which is very, very useful, and I would say more operational. And those 3 products are supported with one brick, one technology that we call AI Lab. So OFFOLIO Artificial Intelligence Lab is, first of all, our tool, because we build it for ourselves. The value we wanted to deliver to the market was about how to create AI model that can predict things to our clients. For example, we have a client that want to predict the number of people that will be using certain rooms in his factory. This is a hard question to answer when you are not on the shop floor or when you are not experienced, but AI can help. And we built this AI lab in order to be able to address those kind of questions and to plug it to the tools. So this is something that is supporting the other tools, and you will see, because during the demo you will see how the AI lab is bringing value. Okay, so the AI lab is a very back-end technology, I would say, that make the prediction for the other products. Okay, so just before going to the demo, let me share you a bit the context. So here we were contacted by a company who wanted to accelerate and to secure the project planning, but also the budget and the resource planning related to new markets, to new deals that they won. So basically, a company, a country in the Middle East was ordering new train for a new line, and they had to schedule the project, and they had to scenarize, but shortened in people for the planning, made this exercise quite hard. And they wanted to bring some automation and also to capitalize on the knowledge from the very experts and people that were in the company since a lot of time. They were using Planisware, so probably some of you know this portfolio and project management tool. This is a very well-known PPM, but just to plan in detail and to go fast and to be agile in the planning process, this is not the most convenient one, I would say. So they had in parallel Microsoft Project and Excel sheets. So question was how to bring something interesting with AI around this. And the people consuming these AI features were the PMO, the planners, the bid managers, because about the pain points, and this is funny, they were telling us, okay, Cyril, we are reinventing the wheel every time. Each time we have a new project, we try to redefine the WBS, we redefine the sequence, but we are doing the same thing, but differently each time. Why? The problem was that young planners were hardly benefiting from the knowledge from the old people, because the knowledge was on Excel sheets, it was on PDF, it was on Word, it was different places, and AI is very powerful in this capacity to capitalize in order to predict things in the future. So this is something you will see. You can use library for that. And the global impact of not being able to capitalize correctly is that millions can be spent in trying to standardize, to build deliverables about the standardization of WBS, of methods and processes. But when quite nobody looks at it, where is the value? So this was the first pain point. The second pain point is
let me just stay on here a bit, because I would like to elaborate a bit more on this pain point, because not sure I personally understood the exact problem. Because as I understand that the organization had different project data stored in various files and various formats, right?
Yes.
And when you say young planners, are we talking about kind of a new generation, people who are coming to replace those who leave or retire, or what do you mean by young planners?
I mean, people with less experience, the juniors, let's say,
Okay.
because the guys who come, they have to plan this project. The old planners became experts with other responsibilities.
Okay.
And it's like throwing them in the fire and say, okay, clean this. But they don't have the experience. So how to grab this experience without having the time of the people who know how to do, who know where is the information, and when the information is in Excel sheet, PDF, etc., then it's not that easy. It's not that easy. So that's the point. Yeah. Yeah.
So you'll tell us how you actually tackled this problem with the help of AI, right?
Yeah. And there will be a mirror. You see, there is three pain points here. This was the first one, and we will show the solution for each one of the pain points just after, as to the demo. The second point, and I think this is the most critical one. This is about how can you take the right decision when you don't have reliable data. Just to give you an example about the young planners, they were telling us, okay, we have made this plan, it looks perfect, but at the end of the day, we forgot that there were a link between a minor item, a minor supply, and some milestones. And it would be funny if the consequences of a dependency error wouldn't be so brutal, because they lost a lot of time. In the nuclear industry, we had this example where they had planned a very pushy planning, and part of the planning had to intervene during a specific period where they stopped the production. But the production forgot to link it with their own schedules. And even if they pushed during 2 years, they were not able to achieve the task during this specific period, and they lost 1 year, which was like millions euro. And this is about how you link things together when you work in an environment where you mix the maintenance, the production, and the program. So those three are very interlinked, but in terms of schedule, you don't see it very often to interlink properly at the correct level of detail. So we will see how the AI can help in this by linking things together through predictive dependency assistance. Yeah. And the last one is the real time, because as soon as this scheduling activity is very manual still, it's hard to scenarize the future and say, okay, I have to produce this train, fine, but I would like to scenarize 3, 5, 6 options, depending on the requirements, depending on the strategy, depending if I outsource or if I make myself with my factories, depending if I increase my production capacities. I would like to see the impact on the delays. But how can I do that if everything is made on Excel sheet with people that really sweat a lot with each exercise? So this is the job of the planners, and it's not an easy job. So we will see how AI will help in bringing data with automation. And one of the critical data is the resource loading. So for example, how to scenarize the project based on the capacity of the team or capacity increase. For example, if I increase the capacity of my engineers, will I save 1 month, 2 months, a week? Maybe nothing, but I should know. And this is interesting to see. So opportunities behind that are very strong because they are really the profitability of the company, which is behind those technical things, the schedule. And bringing AI into this exercise help a lot. Okay, so let's now go to the demo. Just before the demo, let's start with the point 1: how to take the knowledge of experienced people and how to make it available for junior planners in order to list the WBS that are required for a specific project. In this case, a train. And why doing so? In order to automate, save time, standardize, share good practices, and also to simplify, to start from the scope and get the things done. So if it's okay for you, let's showcase the tool from now.
Yes, please. It would be really good if you can kind of connect what you're going to present to those 3 pain points.
Yeah.
that you presented earlier, because I can first of all, like the second one that you talked about,
Yeah.
a nuclear power plant, right? I believe it was an operational plant, and you were talking about some turnaround
Yeah.
maintenance activity, right?
Yeah.
So, and I'm familiar with that kind of asset and maintenance and integrated planning, because I've worked with oil and gas industry, and I've worked a lot with asset maintenance and with a number of turnarounds.
Mm.
So, and then even not operations, right? If you think of construction or engineering,
Yeah.
when it comes to complex assets, having those relationships, especially when you start building a very detailed schedule,
Yeah.
you go down to level 4, and sometimes even level 5. I mean, it's arguable what's level 5 and what's level 4, but I'm talking about a pretty detailed schedule, right? So
Mm.
missing those links,
Mm.
especially if you don't have a very well developed planned, like
Yeah.
job plans, package planning, or like templates,
Yeah.
then for someone who doesn't have the necessary experience,
Yeah.
it's very easy to miss those relationships.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I would like to learn, like, how exactly AI aspect of Folio helps
Yeah.
with that problem.
Yeah. So this is something we will focus on. Just before, let's show how start from a
Mm-hmm.
library of knowledge of
Yes, sure.
WBS, and then showing how this can be
Mm-hmm.
interlinked through dependency that are predicted by AI.
Yeah.
So here, what we have done with this company was just to take past projects in order to detect the patterns. So this can be manually. You can standardize your patterns and register them into a library. And I think this is something you knew, Mamad, in the past, that we were doing already. But now we have upgraded this, because in order to make it easy, we can just ask 10, 20 past projects and use the AI to detect the patterns. So it's very, very applicable, particularly for the high-level schedule, level 1, level 2, level 3 possible, level 4 then it's too detailed, but still very, very efficient in order to make some learning from the past project. And in bid and tender management, this is quite enough, because in this phase you just want to throw the things on the paper and see how is the delay impact. So here is the library. In this library you have the left V cycle side that were learned from past project, where you have the new subsystem or a turnkey subsystem. So those are options basically that will be taken by the new planner. So let's see how we can create from this a new WBS list. So here is the thing. You have here the creation form, where so as a bid manager, planner, or PMO, you enter the key information for your scenario. And again, I'm speaking about scenario because it's not about creating a schedule. It's about creating a scenario, one of the scenario that will help you take the right decision. And within this scenario, you just define information that will be used by the AI in order to predict correctly. So in this scenario, first of all, you define the scope. So what is the scope? Basically, here, this is about the car body. So as a planner, normally the boss calls you and say, okay, I want you to plan the car body schedules, the car body resource loads, what is the budget, what is the time frame, etc. So you speak with the experts. The experts say, okay, car body is composed of a frame, of a room, of an underframe, etc., etc. And so you build things. It's like being on Amazon, like you pick up things and you take things and you just select, and then in order to use those scopes, which are at the end the concept is a block. So each scope is a block, and then you have like questions. It's optional. You can have them, or you can just ignore. But if you want to answer, then it's interesting because you can have like a projection of the cost, projection of the resource load, or even projection of the duration of each WBS or part of the scope. It's up to you to decide how you structure your library. And this learning can be made from past projects. So I'm giving you an example. We use the SAP data in order to learn from the budget and the efforts, because you have the real info coming from SAP, or as real as possible. Because people just input the information of time spent, of euro spent, etc. And then you can just create an OK. If I click on OK here, and the list of WBS will be available for you on the on this page. So here you have, we cannot speak about a schedule yet because it's just a list. It's like having things on an Excel sheet without totally the logic between the things. So it's interesting because
it's like your scope and list of activities, right? There's no logic yet. There's no.
Exactly.
But you have estimates, I can see, or is it because I can see bars, but it says 0 hours?
Yeah, exactly.
So is
So
that at completion 0 hours? Okay.
yeah, and we will see how AI just complete what is missing here, because what is missing, you can see what is missing. There is no logic, and you spotted it right away. There is no effort. So those are point 2 and point 3 of the demo, and you will see.
By the way, also for the audience, I would like to mention something, and also for you, Cyril, is that the lingo you're using in OFFOLIO, the terminology you call certain things, is a bit different. So if you are someone who is used to working with, for example, Microsoft Project or Primavera, which is like Primavera is the most popular one, you will find that some of the things are not called the same way.
Yeah.
So you said effort now, right? But you actually meant what?
Yeah, this effort is the number of hours required.
Yeah, exactly. So that's estimation or duration for that sake, right? So there will be this lingo that you will hear from Cyril and from others that is not exactly. Actually, one of the things that I recommended once, if you remember, that you should develop a glossary and show what each thing, what each terminology means. And it is fine. One of the interesting things I find with OFFOLIO or a similar project, a similar software, is that you are taking kind of a fresh approach. Like if we were in an alternative universe, right, where there was no Primavera, there was no Microsoft project, this would probably be how we would call things, because it's a kind of a fresh approach. So if you are someone who has never worked with those software and you're an engineer, for example, who is just coming to start planning things and you're giving a software, so this is kind of a fresh approach of how you would call different things, because those who have the experience, we are a bit hardwired. And we will look for those words and trying to translate everything if we don't hear what we're used to hear, right? So we are biased. We are biased.
Yeah. We took some freedom on certain things, and we did not want it to copy, to reuse, so we created. So as soon as you create, you have to name with certain time. You have to create the narrative around. So now this is a very, very interesting part. This is how AI brings the logics into WBS list. So we have this AI button at the top of the screen in OFFOLIO, and just the why we are doing this, because as you were mentioning, Mamad, sometimes you forgot to put links between themselves. So it can be in a schedule in itself. and for example, you forgot to put a link between detailed specification and purchase of another item, and then when you have to purchase, you forgot, and it. There is a funny story with those rail train in Spain where they just bought some train that were not able to enter into the tunnel because they were too high. So this is a very very concrete example of things that can happen when you forgot to take into consideration specification between items of your product or the environment. And so it can be within the schedule or between the maintenance, production, etc. This is the same. This is the same approach. So now let's showcase the tool, and let's show you how this AI assistant. So here you are still in OFFOLIO, so you are in your train, metro. So just the context again, car body project, you have to deliver. You picked up the WBS element, and then you can use this AI assistant to open this pop-up. And in the pop-up, you can ask, okay, predict for me the logic, the dependencies. You can ask the AI to predict other things. And now let's look at what happens. So how the AI work here. So as soon as you detail the context when creating your project, then the AI model can start having some information about the scope. But the AI will look at the narrative of each one of the activities of the. So we have several hundreds of parameters in order to make this prediction. So the AI model is very, very dynamic, taking into consideration some very simple things like the number of characters within an activity, but also very more complex, like association of parameters together in order to make a prediction. In this case, the prediction is what is the logic. So you see from the list of WBS that were in parallel, then you have here this those sequences that were creating between themselves. And you can see that, for example, the underframe, the phase of the underframe has been linked with other items of the schedule based on the description, based on the activities, specificities, and based on several hundreds parameters. So this.
So let's again, like, another interesting point. I think we'd like to stay here a bit. So if you say narrative, do you mean like the description, the wording of the sentence of the activities? Yeah. Okay, so that's one thing that AI kind of uses to understand the dependency. What are the other parameters, and if there is any other data, like historic data behind this that AI learns from?
Yeah.
Like similar projects, or what does it? How does it predict these dependencies?
Yes, so this is about AI modeling. So we use deep learning usually to make this learning process. We have our models that are pre-trained, that are operational, but not specific. So let's say you want to build a submarine and you want OFFOLIO to predict a link between items of the submarine. You probably have a prediction of around between 60 and 80%, which is okay, but you will spend quite a lot of time correcting, adding, deleting, etc. So in this case, the best thing is to take. So for the train industry, we took 20 past schedules, similar ones, different but similar ones, and we processed them into the learning machine with the deep learning, taking into consideration. So I think today we are around 300 parameters, and the deep learning is basically taking information and building the prediction engine, and you can, in this process, define what you want to predict in the future. And the AI engine will choose the data that will be used for this AI modeling. So, for example, I can give you a very dumb example, but which is concrete. This dumb one is the number of characters composing an activity. You could say that this is worthless information, but actually this is useful, because the modeling found that when the activity is very, very specific, very, very detailed, there is potentially a link with other type of activities. So you see, it's a funny aspect of how the machine is analyzing a schedule. And when you cross it, this specific analyze with several hundreds other analyses, then you have a good prediction. And in this case, they compared the result of the prediction with expert prediction. So they made the exercise in parallel, and the accuracy was 95%, which is quite crazy. 95% means that it's better than a young planner, and meaning that a junior planner can really focus on challenging what the AI predicted, because of course you should not take it as the truth and just rely on AI totally. You should challenge it, but instead of spending 2 days in this exercise, you can take it and just go in, put your shoes and go into the shop floor and see if it's consistent with the reality. So it's another way to deal with the.
So I have two questions for you, Cyril. One is a controversial one. I'll leave it for the end.
Okay.
And the one is more a practical one. So how many industries, or how many different types of projects do you currently have enough data for, in order to support this exercise? Let's say if you mentioned, like, this is rolling stock, right?
Yeah.
And then you mentioned nuclear, right?
Yeah.
For example, if I come with a wind turbine project, or if I come with a biogas project, so how is there a borderline? You're saying, okay, we are ready, we can completely support this exercise for these and these type of assets or projects. So where are you with that?
Yeah, so manufacturing projects are very applicable. Service IT project is not something that we usually cover. This doesn't mean that this wouldn't work. It means that prediction will probably be more close to 60% than to 80%. It's just about that.
So if you don't have any project data, any historic project data for similar projects, will your AI model still be capable of analyzing the list of activities and predict the relationship?
Yeah. We have a rule where we define that if it's less than 60%, then the prediction is not inputted into the schedule, in order to have like a certain barrier.
How does that happen? Is that like a circular process that it does the calculation? If it is less than 60%, how do you achieve that comparison?
Because a prediction goes with a level of confidence. So the machine just make a prediction, and this prediction is based on certain level of confidence. As soon as the engine is capable of seeing if there is a lot of correlation with what the engine have seen in the past. If not, then the prediction can be made, but you cannot rely the prediction because the level of confidence is low. So this is the thing. So I mean, if you want to increase this rate of confidence, the best is to feed the AI model with past data. And if you are a wind turbine company and you want to use this kind of capabilities, and you have like 20 past projects, then you just can send it into the machine, and we take between 2 and 4 weeks in order to refine, in order to adapt and to work on the AI modeling. Because there is certain data analysis and data scientist work. We automated a lot of this work, which makes this exercise possible in few weeks. But this is a very interesting a part of the work.
So when you do this, like let's say I answer those questions, I build my scope, my WBS, right? And then there's a list of activities.
Yeah.
And then I feed I feed the model with, let's say, 20, 30 of my similar projects, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So the first version of the schedule that you arrive at, so that's, let's call it a deterministic schedule, right?
Yeah.
Are you then capable of running iterations to do some sort of schedule risk analysis? Like arrive at a more probabilistic result with your schedule?
Are you thinking about like Monte Carlo, this kind of
Yeah,
thing?
kind of, yes. Or
Yeah.
maybe not necessarily Monte Carlo, but let's say with the same, I mean, kind of a Monte Carlo, right? You need more inputs maybe to run that probabilistic scenario. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible, and this is something that we can do, but our angle is more to offer to the user the capability to play with the inputs. Like, for example, you remember the first step where you can play with the inputs in order to change the inputs and seeing the impact. So this is, and to compare scenarios. So in order to have for the people dealing with those schedules, the capability to compare and to decide themselves instead of asking a machine to give like a risk level and say, okay, what can I do with that? What is behind? So this is I mean, our approach can be discussed. Every tech company has an approach, and this is our approach. Yeah.
So by the way, in terms of time, we have 10 minutes left.
Yeah.
We have one question in the Q&A, which is an interesting question, actually. I would like to address it. So would you like to try to wrap up in the next 5 minutes, and then we ask that question? I have another question. That's controversial question that I'm hoping to address. Yes.
I will show you just one last thing. It's like 2 minutes. Let's push on the Ask AI button and ask the AI to predict the level of effort. So how much people will be required to do each activities. So I mean, this is 95% of the schedule are missing this information, which is very sad, because
resource loading, right?
Resource loading, and you cannot say so. Now we have built AI modules that support this and make it in like one click like this. So boom, you can see it's done for you. So
is there a resource library that this uses?
No, it's like the learning from the past projects or from the SAP data that help in having the resource load attached to the activities based on, again, parameters. Parameters can be the length, the duration, but can be also the link between other activities, the context that you described in the project description, etc., etc., etc. And then you can challenge and say, okay, this one for 400 or something hours will be 300 or 5,000, whatever. You just challenge what the AI is proposing, and it's a massive time saving.
And then you can also, I assume you can also now give a budget estimate, right?
Exactly, the same. We are working on some very funny, exotic, and useful things like the dosimetry, the level of radiation that are impacting certain activities in the nuclear industry. So you see, you can ask the AI to predict whatever it is important and critical for your projects.
Okay.
So this was the last thing.
Cool. Then I will straight jump into that question from Thomas Brain, and he's asking whether OFFOLIO can integrate easily. That's an important adjective to put there, with other tools that we're already using. I think he means things like Microsoft Project, Primavera, or maybe others like I don't know, Tylos or whatever they're using.
Yes, so they are native integration. So native means it's easily, because there is nothing to do. it's easy. Like Microsoft Project and Primavera are native integration. We started from Microsoft Project now. XCR file are also possible to import and export. So you can do what we have done and just export it to your tool. If you want to monitor the project from Primavera, then you can. Or if you want to import like a Microsoft project which is missing the resource loading, then you import, you add the resource loading based on the AI, and then you re-export. So this is very useful one, very concrete. And then when we are speaking about portfolio and project management tools such as Planisware, Skyforma, Oracle Primavera Cloud, this is also possible to integrate. Some of them have API and it's easy. Some others have more complex ones, and we can just sometimes plug the Lab AI tool to do exactly what we have done in OFFOLIO, but in their software. So this is also an option, but it's taking time.
Yeah, there are two more questions actually that just popped up. As I said, people will start asking questions in the last 5 minutes. One important one, it says that, is it accessible for small planning teams or is it more for large enterprises?
Yeah. I mean, we are managing our portfolio ourselves into OFFOLIO. We are 15, almost 20 people. And I think we are the smallest company managing in real time planning and resource load and budget in real time, everything integrated, because we are using our own tool for ourselves. Small industrials using OFFOLIO, we have, and we have very specific project for that, the Smart PPM. For companies with 50 employees, for example, or for small teams. So yes, this is possible. There are a lot of use cases behind to manage. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And another question, also interesting, regarding the data security or IP. So as an OFFOLIO user, Carla is asking, would my data for AI, for training the AI, would be used by someone else, like maybe some other company, some other enterprise?
So the short answer is no. And how it works, so we have our model which are pre-trained. So we train during years with massive project planning data that were available on the public, because there are a lot of things publicly available in this aspect. And then if you want to train with your own data, then this will be stored in your instance, application instance. So this will be used only for you. And this is very important because I mean, you would not like your prediction to be based on another industrial with a totally different business for you.
Yeah. So just in the end, Cyril, I would like to, first of all, thank you very much. Thanks for a great presentation. And unfortunately, we don't have too much time. We would be able to carry on and on. But in the end, I would like to ask that one controversial question that everybody is probably worried about. Will AI take our job? So basically, what I'm seeing is that with tools like this, right? As you mentioned, these young schedulers, junior schedulers, etc., right? So as these tools will get smarter and smarter and smarter, which will probably happen inevitably, what's the future for people like schedulers, right? Is it going to take their job away, or is it going to change their role to something else? I personally think that it will probably, at least in the midterm, it will turn people from schedulers to schedule reviewers.
Okay.
And also maybe for those technical experts, for example, engineers, mechanics, field people like site managers, etc., that will enhance their capabilities, right? But then again, the question is, will the scheduler in its traditional sense, or project planner in its traditional sense, remain as a job if software or AI can do that monkey job that we've been doing for many decades?
Yeah. I mean, this. My opinion is that it depends on what is the look you have on your own job. If you consider that your job is to do monkey tasks, then I mean, this is your personal look on your own job, and it's sad for you. My opinion is that planner is a very critical job for the profitability of the company for the future, because we have to transform ourselves. And the planners, all the planners that I have met in my career, they always want to do more, but they are limited because they don't have the right tools. They don't have enough time in their day to do what they want to do, and they are frustrated. So my opinion is that this kind of technology will help them to do what they always dreamt to do. And it's not just about building a schedule. It's about securing the project. So what can you bring on the table to secure the project? More constraints to take into account, more simulation. And if you look at this in this aspect, then I think we will need as more planners as we have today, but they will just
be able to do more.
Yeah. I think so.
Okay, that's a quite a hopeful and positive answer. But I also hope that organizations who will be using and utilizing these tools in the future, they see it that way, and they don't see it as a way to cut headcount, but rather enhance the capabilities of their people. And I agree with you that a lot of times planner and schedule are not exactly the same thing, right? Scheduling is a task, is part of the planning and controlling, by the way, because project planning, there's also controlling, right? But I mean, with a tool like this, instead of sitting and finding all those little details and doing the scheduling work, if it can do it for us, and it can enhance and it can accelerate what we do, we can spend more time on reviewing. We can spend more time on refining those scopes. Building more elaborate WBS, refining our data and making better estimates, because we all know that majority of construction projects, especially construction projects, are going over budget and over time.
Yeah, right.
This is kind of given, right? Okay. Yes. Is there anything, last words from you, Cyril?
Yeah, I was just about to say that we should not lie to ourselves. Some companies will try to use those technology to cut costs, but it's up to the planners, to the people involved in this process, to adopt this kind of technology and show the value, not just the cost reduction opportunity, but the value behind.
I think we should start becoming kind of integrated with these solutions, like becoming one with them, right? So as part of projecting that value, this should come with it, right? Not OFFOLIO or something else, right? But innovation as a whole, it should be part of us rather than trying to fight it or trying to avoid it. Maybe we should start adopting and embracing it for the future. Okay, great. I would really ask you guys to leave your contact details in the chat.
With pleasure.
Because that will be accessible for everybody who has joined us today or registered, I believe. And the recording of this session will be available again in this Teams session within your teams, and of course later on when the link is available, I will also share it with everyone who registered for this session today. Thanks for your time. Merci beaucoup, Cyril, William, and everybody else, Stefan. And everybody who joined us from OFFOLIO, and for all those who registered, for all those who stayed with us. We had quite a good retention rate today, actually. We started with about 24 people, ended with 20. I will give it that 2 people left us after 5 o'clock, which is fair enough. So yeah, it's quite a good retention rate. And have a great weekend, guys. So, and everybody else, have a great weekend.
Ciao.
Thank you,
Mohammed.
Ciao.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.